live. I'm so sorry for
Finally.
everyone, whoever was waiting. Something was happening with Restream today, but we got it to work. Mandy, thank you
Finally.
so much.
I'm
Thank
here.
you for your patience. I'm so happy to have you here finally. Okay, without further ado, Mandy, please introduce yourself and tell why people should love you like crazy.
Oh gosh. Well, maybe it's because I'm in Portugal right now. I don't know, but I am on the island of Madeira, Portugal, as a digital nomad working. It's beautiful here. Mandy McEwen, owner and founder of Mod Grow Marketing and Luminetics. I train awesome teams how to be badasses on LinkedIn and grow and land more clients and do all the things. So that's the very, very short version. I'm just glad to be here and I'm glad this is working. Sorry for everyone who waited.
Thank you so much for everyone who waited. Mandy, I'm so excited to dig into this topic because this is something that we at Dream Data are very often asked. And I really want to figure out your ideas, how you look at it, how you look into inbound marketing from LinkedIn perspective. How are you merging the two, sales, marketing, company, personal, and so on? There are so many things to cover, and we have very little time for this.
I know. Now, thanks to the technical difficulties, even shorter, but I talk really fast, so we can cram a lot in a short amount of time.
Whoever's watching the recording, we're gonna slow it down. So it's gonna be really weird. I'm
Exactly.
gonna talk slow. She's gonna talk fast. Okay, let's dig into this. So, from your role in, oh wait, there you go. Now the camera works as well. Okay, so LinkedIn role in inbound marketing. So, how do you look at this? And like, break it a bit down for me. When we talk about inbound marketing and LinkedIn, what's that for you? Because it's not the typical marketing that you might think.
Right. So, inbound in general, right? We are trying to drive brand awareness. When it comes to all things inbound, we're trying to get people to know who we are, the brand and the humans behind the brand. And I think that's the biggest point I want to make right now is back in the day, like when I started off in online marketing way back in the day in 2007, there was, it wasn't really a thing to even have personal brands. It was all company, right? Now, almost 2025, the companies have to have some sort of subject matter experts like yourself that has a LinkedIn presence like yourself, right? So it is no longer enough just to have company inbound anymore. It was several years ago. So we can have inbound marketing coming from SEO, coming from social media, coming from events from the company. Now it's really, really hard to do that without individuals also contributing to that inbound. So inbound is now way more robust than it has ever been because we have the company inbound side, which 100% is crucial, but we also have the individuals where we need to be building up the SMEs in our organization to also have inbound presence and inbound opportunities coming in. And so all of these things work in tandem, but it can get out of control really fast if you don't have a strategic plan of action, as you know.
Yeah. And we're going to dig into those strategic points together. There are so many questions that I have like on a literal list, but I actually want to dig into something that is very exciting for myself that I get asked every single time. First question, is this marketing or sales job?
Good question. I am going to go with leaning more towards marketing, but sales still needs to be involved. So I'm going to put the bulk of it on marketing, but there has to be collaboration between the two, and there's still responsibility from sales, but sales can't do their job properly from an inbound perspective without marketing.
All right, great. For if sales are supporting marketing with this, how do you count the leads? Yeah, sorry for bringing you into the fire.
I know, right? Oh, the attribution models. Yeah. So
no, but when you're in sales, I mean, that's what everybody's asking. Oh, Laura, you're on LinkedIn and you're in sales. So do you get all the leads that mention you? Should I? Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, you should really. You should. I think you should. That's the thing. It's like a lot of this is what are people saying? So we live in this dark social age where people are chatting everywhere. They're in forums, they're in Slack communities, they're on LinkedIn, they're DMing people everywhere. And it's really, really hard to now in this crazy world we live in to drill down specifically this person that bought from us came specifically from this source because they could have they could have seen you on LinkedIn, Laura, then they could have got a demo. Then 3 months later, they could have read a blog post, and it started with you, but it ended up with like 6 other points. Exactly. So it's like, how do you attribute that? And that's why I think people need to look at like what is happening. Like when people are talking, like ask the questions. Where did you find out about us? Like we have to be asking these questions. We can't just rely on these old school models of attribution and like trying to line up exactly this person came from this exact specific campaign. It's just really difficult to do that.
Exactly. Okay. But then let's start unpacking it from where that has actually started. I'm sorry, I'm not going to derive you unless there are questions in the chat later. So I'm going to pick them up. So you mentioned it starts from marketing, sales collaborate. So just unbreak a little bit for this inbound marketing to work. Where should marketing start and take us over to the collaboration with sales from there?
Yes. So the biggest hurdle I see right now is that marketing is stuck in old school marketing land from 2009. So what I mean by that is they're just sharing like your generic blog post and events that their team is going to. They're not really thinking about like what resonates with people from a content standpoint, storytelling, getting creative, more video content. And so how I see this with sales and marketing collaborating, the sales teams I train, and you have to remember too, like I am a salesperson turned marketer turned social seller. So like I have a lot of experience as a marketer too, before old school sales, before I got into marketing. And so I'm looking at it from both lenses. And salespeople do not like marketing people's content. They tell me this all the time. If I'm like, use marketing, they're like, I don't like it. Especially people in Europe, actually. I found the Europeans are very specific about what they post on their LinkedIn page. And they don't want to post what marketing has because it's not good enough for them. Okay. I hear this all the time. Americans aren't as much. They're like, oh, whatever, I'll post whatever. But the European and the UK clients are way more cautious with their brand image and what they post. And so there needs to be like a thought leadership division of this content piece. And I don't mean like your boring traditional like corporate thought leadership content. I mean like how can we get some unique content out there for our sellers that they have a repository and they can pick and choose from this. It's not your traditional marketing content. It's, this is a customer story. This is an industry trend. We're not leading with the solutions. We're leading to the solutions. But all of those ICP frameworks that we're looking at and breaking down all the pain points, the challenges these people have, and then how your solutions lead to that, but do it in a fun way and a more creative way that gets people that actually resonates, and maybe throw some controversy in there, maybe debunk some myths. Like we have to think outside the box of just like corporate marketing speak because it just doesn't work anymore. And sellers don't want to post that. They want like cool content. And so I feel like it's marketers' job to give the sellers that content that they actually want to post that's going to work.
It's so interesting because when we talk with marketers or what we believe marketing should be doing, like all the branded stuff, also beautiful stuff and so on, it's so boring that nobody cares. So that's where I come from. I used to work at Gartner and I'll reshare it. It's kind of big brand, Gartner, very cool, and somebody should like it. Yeah, your colleagues will. But everything else is like, there's no personality, but it's so scary for marketing to bring that personality, because what type of personality will you bring in? Should it be witty? Should it be, I don't know, challenging? And how do you decide how to bring it to more personal part? Again, I'm deriving this conversation, but I think this is so interesting because in marketing, it's not just one person creating content. It's so easy for one person to create content. Okay, I'm me, I'm Laura. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. But for a brand, how do you distinguish and bring that personality? Have you seen some companies doing that in a good way?
Yeah, I think it all starts like from the top, figuring out what does our brand voice want to be. But we also don't need to overthink this. Like if we go back to like branding 101 and corporate branding and marketing, there's a lot of like unnecessary stuff that is thrown in there. Like you have to follow these specific guidelines. At the end of the day, we're just trying to resonate with people and build relationships and get people to like us. And so I think we kind of need to throw out some of this like very, very specific brand tone and brand voice. Like, sure, get some uniformity going on and get everyone on board, but have some fun with it and experiment. I don't think it has to be this is how we are only. And we have to stick with this. I think it should be like, let's experiment. Let's see what works. Let's see what's resonating with people. Let's do some funny posts. Let's do some creative ones. Let's get some people on camera and have fun with it and see what people are resonating with, and then kind of go from there. But the problem with bigger companies is they can't do that because there's just too many rules, and restrictions. And so it's really difficult because there's old school leaders at the top and they don't want that. And I deal with this all the time. They're like, no, we have a CEO that is very particular about, and he's old school and he doesn't like certain things and he looks at this. And I'm like, well, then I don't know what to tell you. Like there's only so much we can do if the leaders are not willing to have their marketing team step outside of the corporate box and get creative. There's not a whole lot to do.
It definitely starts there. I mean, if you're every time you do something different, look back at your whoever CEO and think, oh, am I fired for this one? Oh, is this not according to the brand lines? It's like, you're in marketing. You should be able to do it. And if you're not, well, probably either you have to accept it and continue to be boring, or find a company that actually will let you do that. But I think the problem sometimes also comes back to, if I'm the only person who thinks this is probably going to be fun and personal as a company, they're more in the team. Am I speaking over the team? But if you don't experiment, you won't find it. You will be the same. Let's talk a bit about content. So there's a lot to unpack, but for content, so there are some content rules for companies to create that actually convert, because that's what we're in. Marketing, we need to create content, thought leadership, top of funnel, but something that converts. Walk me through of some of the pillars that you're thinking of. What type of content companies are creating, like relating to the brand, and the lower, and what does actually convert, and what should sales do for that to help to convert further?
Yeah, so the ones that convert the most are when we're showing how we help people. This is across any industry, right? We took customer A, they had this problem. Like, I'm working with Continental right now, right? They sell tires and other things, but like it's a giant company. It is fun. It's in the automotive industry, right? And so it's like, no one cares about the materials that this hose is made of. Like, no one cares about that. What we care about is like, show how this hose helped this company solve this problem and paint that picture. And so a lot of these old school companies are still stuck in the product focus, not customer centric. It's product centric content, not customer, and that's just how they don't know any better. Like, it's not their fault. It's just like old school marketing, and if this isn't something that you're training people on in your company and you're not educating them and giving them examples and frameworks to do this, they're not going to know. But the biggest pillar that converts is when we're literally showing people how our products change lives, if you will, right? How does this product, just like what you do, Laura, like your videos that you make, like you're literally showing people, this is how we solve these problems. Like, you're literally showing them that. And so that is what I feel like it converts the most. And so it's education, but it's also like, okay, we're going to educate you and show you this thing that you can do, but like we have a shortcut for it. And like that, and you have to add in all sorts of other types of content, obviously the personal, like company culture and events and all of that. But the stuff that converts is the stuff that gets people thinking differently, or they're like, oh man, I should do that. Oh, that is a faster way to do that. Why haven't I been doing that way? Oh, that's a cool feature that I could totally use. Or, wow, that customer that they just shared, like I have the exact same problem right now. Like that is what converts, that type of content.
Bring me to the sales side of this. So how do you fish them out? They know, oh, this is a problem that I could use. Scroll further, nothing happened. So how do you actually get them to speak to you about that problem that you spoke about?
Yeah, that's a tougher one. So that's when you have to, aside from the people that are going to raise their hand, which as we know isn't a lot, that's when you have to look at the metrics, the engagement, who's liking, who's commenting, right? And you just profile, and from the individual standpoint, profile views, right? But we have to look at all of these metrics and be reaching out to people too. So there's an outbound element of inbound too, if you want to do this right.
Love it.
And the call to actions, like obviously, like we need to do, it's better if we can get call to actions and people engaging. That's why I like those topics that get people talking, because then you could just look at who's commenting. But other thing is just very, very simple, just sending people somewhere, free resource, whatever it is. But yeah, it's a lot harder to kind of fish for those people that want to buy, because not everyone is going to raise their hand and be like, yes, right now. But if you go hunting for them, you will likely find them.
Yeah. Agree. And of course, there's that unknown piece of it that they thought it's cool, they never responded, but then half a year later, oh, I've seen your content, I've seen your videos. Like, oh, come on, can't you just raise hands so we can count you? It's like
totally. I mean, I've had people that I've been following you for years. I'm like, I've never seen you once on anything. None of my likes, none of my comments. And then all of a sudden you come out of the woodworks, you've been following me for 4.5 years and you want to hire me? Like, where did you come from? And those are like the lurkers that you're never going to be able to know. Like,
I love what Mike is writing here. So for the content pieces, he dropped 4 things, going from entertaining content, outcomes, benefits, and features. I love this. And especially if you created a bit of different content around those, so you don't go to features right away, because this is where you always tend to try to go to. It's like, engage people, show them the outcomes, the benefits. I love this. Very good point.
Yeah, I like that, Mike.
Okay, so now you mentioned some of the ways to get those outcomes from LinkedIn are also reaching out to the visitors of your profile. Is there any connection of people who are in your companies, like in your company, and their profiles, the way they look, connecting to the brand? Do you think it matters?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me.
Yes. So I have a whole course in AI profile builder tool for this, actually. So
check it out.
So I am a big believer that everyone in an organization that is customer facing, their profile needs to be a mini sales page for the company. Not so much that people even realize it, though. Okay. So it's like, you're not instantly, it doesn't look the same. So like, back up, it doesn't need to all look the same. Everyone needs to have their own personality and stuff, but it still is hitting those points. You need to have your featured links in there, linking to demo pages and videos, whatever. The very first sentence in your about section needs to literally have your elevator pitch. This is what we do. This is how we help people. Now you can weave in XYZ at this company to, you know what I mean? You can say like, this is my role, but in that sentence, it needs to say how you help people, period. So there needs to be a uniformity across the board for everyone that's customer facing at the organization. It all needs to have the same similar elements, but with their own personality thrown in the mix. So it's not like you land on everyone's profile and you're like, oh, that was copy and pasted verbatim, just like 18 others on their team. Like I'm not going for that, but there is a formula. Like the headline needs to be the value statements, right? The about section needs to talk more about what they do now to help people than what they did in their past, unless they're trying to get a job. Right? If you're trying to get a job, sure. But if you're not trying to get a job, your profile should talk about how you provide value to people, how you help people. It shouldn't be all about your 25 years of experience. No one cares. They care how you help you. Not to mention you're trying to make money. We're trying to land clients and build relationships on this platform. If we're not telling people exactly how we do that on our profile, then it's pointless.
Agree. Okay. So how you help people, a little bit entertaining, so you have some personality in it.
Absolutely.
Anything else that is important for, let's say, marketers to have on their page versus salespeople?
Yeah, really, we're all trying to land customers. It doesn't matter if you're marketing or sales, right? And so there's not a massive difference. Like I still feel like everyone needs to have the same elements on their profile. They need to tell people what they do. They need to weave in their personality. This is what I do outside of work. And here's a call to action, right? Go here to do a demo. And everyone needs featured links. Now the featured links might be different for marketing and sales, right? But they all need to have like the featured link sending people to somewhere to build up that credibility and trust so people know that you guys are a legit company. So I feel like it could be very, very similar. Maybe the stuff they link to is different, but the overall messaging I feel like should be the same because we're all in the same boat, we're all trying to grow.
Yeah. I love it. And then if somebody visits your profile or they commented or they liked and say, oh, this might be a lead. How do you build that up to actually bringing that lead back?
Yeah, good question. It's really just like having a conversation, like if you were in person, right? So, hey, Laura, I stumbled across your name in my profile views. Anything I can help you with? Or, hey, Laura, thanks so much for your comment yesterday on ABC. How are things going at XYZ company?
Yeah.
very, very lightweight to begin with. We're literally just like getting them to respond.
Yeah.
And then we just start asking the questions like, hey, are you using LinkedIn much for prospecting? This is like what I do. So, or what are you using right now to accomplish XYZ? Like out of curiosity, what are you guys using at ABC company to accomplish XYZ? So you're just like very lightweight touching on asking questions. But before you even ask that question, you need to just get them to respond.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you've got them. How far would you stretch a conversation before you actually talk about what you're trying to sell?
All depends on what they do. So I think you can come pretty quickly, like out of the first message, if they respond, I think you could then like ask a question,
Mhm.
and or send a video message or a voice message. So it's a lot easier for you to pitch in a lightweight way when you send a voice note or a video. Okay. It comes across way better because you can show your personality. You can be lightweight about it than if you were to like, text it. So if you could go for the kill immediately if you do it right, but you just have to, everyone's different. Like you just have to gauge the conversation. But I think I think people are overthinking this. And if you're a cool human being that's not a spammy, annoying, pitch slapping weirdo, then people aren't going to be mad at you for just simply asking the question like, hey, can I help you with this? No one's going to hate
you. Annoyed, like, oh, come on, don't pack it in. Don't ask 7 questions and wait. Just tell me what you want because I will respond. It's like, you don't care how much kids are doing.
Yeah. Get to the point in a way that is not annoying. Like there's an art to it, but in like people that are in sales, they know how to do it. They have personalities that it comes natural for them. But that's why I'm a huge proponent of video and voice notes, because it's just, you can't compare sending a text versus a video message. You just can't.
No. And nowadays, video and voice is much more impactful than a call. Nobody will pick up your call, but they will probably see your face, and don't watch the video to the end, but they will see your face. Oh God, it's tough.
And even if you do calls, hey, leave a voice note. Hey, hey Sam, I just sent you a video on LinkedIn. Video message. You know what I mean? Like you can intertwine all of these things: email, LinkedIn, video messages, phone. Like I'm a big fan of doing all of it, but when you do it the right way, it's going to be 10 times more impactful than if you were to just pick up the phone, like you said, or send an email. Like they're missing out a massive, channel here with LinkedIn by just focusing on email and phone.
Oh, I've got a very good question. Look, Anders is asking a very good question. So LinkedIn profiles, who owns the content? A person or the company? That's so exciting.
I would say you own the content. Absolutely. And even if the company is providing content, it's you. Like you're a human being and it's your personal profile. So I feel like it should always be you that own the content. Like it is your company's responsibility if they want to help you to give you content, but that doesn't mean that they own that content. I think it's absolutely yours.
Yeah, I love this. I love it. And the more personal, the better. Oh, good. I've got a comment from Joshua. Hello, what's up in New York? He always checks out people's pros or comments to gauge what first message makes sense to send. For example, if they have a sense of humor, I might send a message that makes them laugh. If they give bro vibes, I might say, yo, what's up? I can't send bro vibes. This is so not me, but I have to learn this. It's like when I see this, like, oh. But a good point, John. It's a really good point, because then you're so much more personal, because like it feels like it's a friend or somebody who has been following them. That's good.
Absolutely.
Okay. So one thing that I constantly get asked about and still cannot crack it completely open, team enablement to do this. Okay, so we're marketing and sales is a team, marketing is a team. We need to work as a team for this, but most of the time, marketing wants to do it to enable sales, but then sales don't always catch the ball. And like, we have been doing this like this all the time. I'll share this and that's it, maybe. How do you get those teams to work together and also sales synchronously to help marketing to drag it there?
Yeah, this is a really tough one. And I feel like if there's no education from someone like myself, that can come in and be like a third party that can be like, look, this is why you need to be doing this. They're not going to see the value in it. And, it sucks, but like, you're not really going to listen to your own people as much as you do an expert that's from the outside that has no, it doesn't matter to me. Like, yeah, of course I want everyone I work for to succeed, but like my paycheck isn't going to matter. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's this element of if they haven't been, and even internally, if they have an expert internally that can educate them on this, awesome. But a lot of times they don't. There are no experts in, social selling and LinkedIn content, et cetera, on the team, especially the older school companies. So they're not going to see the value in it. That's the biggest thing. Like if you're not showing salespeople the value in doing this, they are not going to do it because they're trying to hit their quota. They're going to be smiling and dialing all day long and sending those emails out because they don't see the value in it. And so it starts with education first and foremost, and so because you can't convince someone to spend their time doing this if they don't actually see the value. So it's almost like we have to have like what works well when I'm working with companies too, is we have, like the golden boy or girl. Most of the time it's men in sales, could be a girl. And they've done this and they're like, look, we're going to use you as an example. You know what I mean? Not everyone has this, but like if they can see, or maybe someone else from another company, but like they can see tangible, like this person that is in your role is doing this thing. They're posting content. They're sending connection requests. They're looking at the people's profile and making personal messages to them. They're doing their research ahead of time. They know what the company's situation is. This actually works. And here's proof. Yeah. But if they don't have that, it's really hard for them to be a believer. And we're still in this phase right now. It's still early. Like I've been training on this for years on LinkedIn, but I think we're still in a very early stage here that sellers still don't quite see the opportunities yet.
No, I think it's a very big balance. I think it's very tough because even if, let's say, we have me, you still have to figure out what's the carrot for sales to actually do it. Because, oh, great, you're active and you have been mentioned on this and that call. It's great. But I just smile and dial because everything else is energy. So what is that carrot that you would talk about with sales? Let's do it together. Or what's the easiest entry in? So like everybody participates and get even a tiny medal. It's fine.
And that's where I think systems need to be set up in place with KPIs, like you have to be very specific about this. Like, okay, we're going to put time blocks on our calendar and you're going to do this an hour a day. And this is exactly what you're going to do. Like we gave you this content, or let's just start from a content perspective, because content's not going to do anything if you're not doing the other things like sending connection requests, but we have to bucket these out, right? So we have the content piece. We're like, here's your content for the month. We're going to give you 60 posts. It is your responsibility to go and schedule them. Right now, you can schedule all of them for the month, or you can schedule them weekly, but you need to go and do this and you need to schedule them. So it's like, we have to make sellers' jobs easier for them when it comes to this. So it's like, here's the content, go and schedule it. You don't need to post it manually, just schedule it. Schedule it for 2 weeks in advance, it's done. When you have time in the day, go in and respond to comments, right? But they're busy, okay? These are not marketers, these are sellers. They're way different to try to get them to do things, right? But then you have the other element of, you need to be sending X number of connection requests per week. I don't care what day you do it on, if you do it every day, if you do it, but you need to be sending 50 minimum connection requests per week. You need to be leaving at least 50 comments per week, right? So we have these minimum KPIs that we're giving them as expectations. And if you really want to get them to work, make it fun and make challenges out of it. That's what we do, right? So we're like the people, we have all of these stats that we're doing reporting for our clients, and the people that are posting the most, getting the most responses, sending the most connection requests, like we're rewarding them. So it's like a fun challenge. But you can't just expect people to be like, go do it. You need to be using LinkedIn. Go do it. Why are you not sending connection requests? Why are you not leaving comments? Like, go do it. You can't, it doesn't work that way. You have to literally like be very, very specific and strategic about what you're telling these sellers to do. And it has to be all laid out. Here's a checklist. We have a checklist, like hour a day checklist. Every single day, this is your expectation. You're going to go into Sales Navigator. You're going to look at your feed, which is only people that we are targeting in your Sales Nav feed. It's not LinkedIn.com feed, because that's full of a bunch of stuff that you don't want to see a lot of times. Very hyper specific. Spend 15 minutes in the morning, engage with as many prospects as you can. Leave at least 10 comments every single morning. which you could easily do in 15 minutes. You can crank out way more than that, right? Then this is what you're supposed to do. So it's a system. And if we don't give the sellers that system, they are not going to do it. They're just not.
Agree. And the creativity of a salesperson is more in the sales process rather than like, oh, I'm going to find this post and something like that. So it's so much easier when stuff is in systems. I thought of a crazy idea while you were speaking as well. It's like when you were like salespeople, SDRs, they're used to do sequences, right? What if your sequence, let's say we're using Apollo, and what if your sequence was you've got this list of accounts, you put them into sequences. Some first steps of the sequence are manual. Connect with at least 5 people on that specific company you're reaching out to, or warm them up with this. And then the next thing is write a piece of content that is problem solving for that specific client without naming them and post it on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Imagine if that was that and it becomes to be like your sequence rather than a system. It's just an idea.
I mean, in same like Outreach, Apollo, like these are all like sequences that you literally can put in there. But the problem is, Laura, is like we all know that some sellers just don't follow all of those sequences as they should, and that's where the challenge lies. But yeah, I am with you. Absolutely. Like that's the best way to do it. It's like they're used to that platform and logging in like Apollo, for example, and like this is the sequence to follow. I'm going to go and follow it.
Yeah. Joshua comments with a scary comment for me, actually. I like the idea, but it's team should hire full-time virtual assistant to build sales nav lists and send connection requests for the whole team and identify specific people to have the team comment on their post. What do you think about it?
I mean, I always tell people like if you have a VA, like, yeah, I'm a huge fan of getting a virtual assistant trained up to help. Especially with all of the things with who to comment, you could even train like from an executive standpoint, like you could have a VA that learns your voice and comments on your behalf, not sellers, but I'm talking about like C-suite, this is already happening. Right. But I don't feel like I don't feel like leaders would probably put that in the budget yet but I agree with you, Josh. I think that would be super helpful if they could do that. But I just don't feel like that is realistic for people to spend money on that.
You're thinking budget. I'm thinking more like it's getting into that social corporate responsibility in the way that if everybody starts to do this, it becomes so impersonal and it will work only for a very short period of time. And I'm sure a lot of companies already are doing this. And you can see, as you're saying, oh, we can see AI content all over the place. Me too. And that becomes kind of, there's a bucket of everything automated and done for you. And then there's a bucket of personalized. And it's the balance is, I don't know.
It works.
I like the idea, but it's tough.
Yeah, I like the idea too. And I mean, there's automation that can do this too. It's not just virtual assistants. Like you could set up a LinkedIn automation right now and send connection requests automatically to people. Like this is a thing already. It's not going away. But you can't just rely on that though. Like I think like that's a good idea to get people started, like to have a VA like send a connection request to get stuff started. And then it's the seller's responsibility to pick up the conversation. But you could send blank connection requests too. If your profile is legit and you have a decent presence, you can get away with sending blank connection requests. I just posted about this the other day, actually. But brand like sellers that only have maybe 300 connections and, especially ones with crap profiles, they can't get away with just sending blank connection requests as easily, So I like the concept idea of let's just get some help, setting some things up and then take it from there.
Yeah. Love it. Tom has another question. Are there any tools for sales managers to track their sales team's actions in Premium?
I don't think so in Premium, but in Sales Navigator, it's annoying. The analytics is just quite frankly terrible when it comes to all things social selling and LinkedIn. Sales Navigator Team Edition, you can see how many in-mails, even though in-mails are crap. Like you can see lists, like how many people are added to lists, like from your team members. Like as a manager, you can see how many people are, what team members have lists, like they've added this many people to their list, whatever it is, and they can see how many in-mails they've sent, but that's it. You can't see anything about. And so what we do manual reporting where we look at how many connections they have month over month, how many posts they have month over month, how many comments they've left month over month. That's really all we can see. And so we do this for clients, but it's really hard to do that. Like there's really not easy ways to do this.
Okay, we have 10 minutes left. Let's talk about measurement because that's where we landed a bit into. So, for social selling to work, it's not just social selling in general, for LinkedIn to work for your inbound marketing, what do you measure to say we're in the right direction?
Are we talking company? Are we talking individuals? Are we talking both?
Let's start with company and then move into individual.
Okay. So, I would say we're looking at followers and engagement, you know, and then, I mean, at the end of the day, it's conversions, like how many leads are we getting? But like when we're looking at like the metrics, we're looking at, are we growing? Is our community growing? Our following growing? Are we getting more engagement? You know, are we getting comments and we're getting likes from the right people though? Okay. This is key too. Like, are we getting engagement with our target audience? Because you can see like who's engaging, you know, what their titles are, et cetera. And you can actually just see it just by looking at who liked it. But we're also looking at not just like how many likes and comments we get, but are they the right people? You know, that's what we're looking at. But obviously like the biggest thing is like, are we getting more leads, you know, month over month? But yeah, I would look at those.
Coming all over the place. So we need to set some measurement for LinkedIn specifically. So leads are growing. That's very good. And they're coming from some various places. Usually what we look at is like direct traffic and LinkedIn touches that brought in some of that traffic. But then what should we look at on LinkedIn for company page? So you mentioned followers, relevant followers that are growing, engagement. And then if we take the personal profiles, what matters?
Profile views going up. Same thing, like profile views, comments, likes, and messages. This is the big one too. Messages and responses. So are we getting more responses? Are people responding more to our connection requests? Are people responding more to our outbound messages? Are we getting more inbound messages coming in, you know, inbound opportunities from our content? But at the bare minimum, we're just looking at the basics of profile views. And it's the content. I don't like getting hung up on vanity metrics with individuals so much because people are lurkers. We just talked about this at the beginning of when we started chatting. There are so many lurkers that don't engage with your content, but it's driving, you know, it's driving sales. So I don't like individuals getting hung up so much on how many likes they're getting. Yeah. I feel like it's consistency. And so it's like, are you consistently adding more people to your network and getting more opportunities coming in month after month? That's the biggest thing for individuals. Like, don't be like the marketing side on the company and really be looking at the likes and the comments and whatever. Like, yes, look for opportunities there. Always look at who likes and comments and look for opportunities, but don't use that as like, oh no, this isn't working, because you just have to be consistent. And at the end of the day, it's, are more people coming to your profile? Are more people responding to you? Are more people reaching out to you?
Yeah. Yeah. I love this. But at the same time, it's so hard. It's so freaking hard because some of that is on personal profiles. Some of that you think, oh, I don't want to do this micromanagement. We just want to make sure that this is relevant, that people are sharing and there are more leads coming in general. So we can measure that on the website or somewhere else. And it can come from wherever. I mean, if everybody's doing it as a team, it empowers the whole team to want to do it more. And let's say somebody commented on a post of somebody who doesn't post that much. Let's say Mandy commented on, I don't know, Sanders' post in our team. Well, Mandy, your people have seen his post as well. So it's like, that is so much interconnected that we just want people to start doing it consistently rather than trying to look into some specific metrics.
Exactly. And you made a good point there too. It's like, we need to help each other out as colleagues, you know, like you have a Slack channel, like drop your LinkedIn post in, like every time you post, right? Like get your colleagues involved and support each other. Like that's our goal is, you know, as a team, is to support one another. And so there needs to be communication. This isn't just like a very, like, I'm in my own world and I'm going to post and not even talk to any of my colleagues about it. Like we all need to kind of work together here. But if you can imagine, if we have 10 Lauras on our team, how monumental that could be for our growth, right? But they can't all do that in a silo. Like we have to work together here to accomplish that. And so there's a lot of strategic planning and systems and everything that goes into this. It's not easy, but it is so, so, so worth it. Once you get all of this down, then it just becomes a well-oiled machine that just keeps growing and growing and building and building. But it's that initial part of like setting everything up and getting everyone on page and then just constant iteration that I think scares people from even starting.
It is scary. I agree. Even though at the company we're doing it pretty okay well,
Yeah, you guys are
it's
doing a great job.
it's not easy. It's like there are a lot of things that you're still thinking, oh, we could do this and this and that, but at the same time, it's both work, but also, do we really want to measure it all? It's like, let's just all start doing this. And when you become a bigger company, well, just let's do better doesn't really count. You know, like how, what is not working, what's working. The last 5 minutes, Mandy, let's talk about the algorithm because nowadays it's going crazy. Scott has a question about LinkedIn videos, but let's start with very high level algorithm. What works? What's coming? What do you think? Like what people should care about? And then we're going to jump into your question, Scott.
Yeah, so the algorithm is crazy right now, has been for, but especially now. Videos are crushing it in like the most absurd way, like hundreds and thousands of views on my videos, which is just what doesn't match up to the engagement. That's a whole other conversation, as you I'm sure have seen. So LinkedIn it's constantly evolving, but what is working right now is like videos, of course, and anything that is entertaining and can hook people immediately and give people education to where they can action item right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like what is working, like, and this is just like human nature because algorithm and humans play hand in hand because the algorithm is rewarding stuff that human beings like. But the LinkedIn algo in particular is obsessed with video right now. And the posts that are really taking off, including video, are the ones that are giving people actionable tips, or they're funny or they're entertainment. Like we talked earlier about, like entertaining with some of the comments, like education, edutainment, right? Yeah. So it's like combining a fun element, but it is definitely, we've got more TikTok-esque things happening on LinkedIn now. And so LinkedIn is rewarding more of like the creative, video and helpful type of content. But I don't want people to get caught up on the algorithm too. Just keep posting. Just keep posting and you're going to see what works because it is constantly changing. You cannot get hung up on the algorithm and its constant changes. Just give people valuable content that helps them at the end of the day.
Agree. Absolutely. Because not every person wants to go on video. One thing that I noticed, and I already spoke with Jeremy. Jeremy, thank you so much for the comment that we have a podcast attributed, and this is going to be a part of podcast attributed if you would like to go and listen to even more of that on Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. I've never said this on a live. Okay, anyway.
I love that. Wherever you get your podcast.
Okay, anyway, I even forgot what I was about to say. No, but get your marketing team creating some videos that you could use as well. So now you know that algorithm is working and you just don't love this face in the camera, and just share something that company has created that is engaging as well, that it could be that you as a person would choose to share. It's not like a CEO of the company. So I don't know, the recording of the day is this and that. But what we spoke with Jeremy is, what if we cut some videos, both from this, for example, from this podcast, or we cut some videos from when our founders are on stage and so on, and you've just found it fun and engaging, then you can share it as a person. And that would create that kind of a loop of both the company, your work there, you like their videos, you're sharing it because the algorithm loves it. So work with your marketing because they will help you on that. And we're getting into Scott's questions before the end. I'm sorry, Mandy's like talking on top of that. So Scott is asking about LinkedIn's tools. Are there any tools that you know that allows you to get detailed video engagement, such as percentage of video watched and so on?
I mean, on LinkedIn, it's just you get what you get with the LinkedIn, the LinkedIn
stats.
Sorry, Scott. And like, I don't even believe half of their stuff too. I'm like, really? Like some of the views and stuff, I'm like, really? Is that really accurate? So no, there's really nothing else you can do, Scott. I want to say one more thing though. With AI, we can create clips from YouTube videos and stuff that aren't even our own now. Like you can use Opus Clip and stuff and take like funny and educational and just cite the source. Like you don't even have to be on camera anymore to create videos,
Exactly. Go for video because LinkedIn wants it. If you don't want to go for video, go for consistency in general. Mandy?
Valuable content.
Any last words before we close this part of the podcast?
I'm just glad I was finally able to make it, albeit 15 minutes late, but it finally worked. So I'm here. So thanks so much for having me. No, just if you're not already following me, go ahead, follow me. I have some cool stuff coming out in the next month that I'm super pumped about. And yeah, if I can help you guys with anything, let me know. But my biggest takeaway for everyone is don't overthink it and don't get caught up in likes and vanity metrics. Just be consistent. Try new things, experiment, be consistent, and just go out there and make it happen. And don't worry about what other people think. That's the biggest thing. Like that's the biggest thing. Biggest takeaway. Don't worry about what others think. Go out there, do it, be consistent, and I promise you, you will see results. But you have to have both the content and the outbound sending messages, sending connection requests for all of this to work. You can't just do one or the other.
Fantastic. Mandy, I love this. We love you. Everybody, go
Likewise.
follow Mandy. She has a lot of stuff to share with all of you guys, and go hire her to help you out if you're struggling with this, because it's hard for everyone. Thank you so much for making this happen. Thank you for staying on, everybody. It was a great show.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks, Laura.